Season's greetings, spectators of myth, and welcome to this Myth Story Special Edition. Today, we dive into the past and examine one of the most well-known and controversial Frenchmen of all time, Michel de Nostradamus, better known as Nostradamus. Although he died centuries ago, Nostradamus is said to have predicted many things, both past, present, and future. Some say this so-called prophet foretold the events of the French Revolution, the rise of fascist Germany, and even September 11th. But what we're concerned with, spectators of myth, is prophecies of his that have yet to come to pass, and if they ever will. 5 Prophecies of Doom. Nostradamus explained. Will the dead rise? The following is perhaps one of the most bizarre of all of Nostradamus' forecasts. It goes, the year the great 7th number is accomplished, appearing at the time of the great games of slaughter, not far from the age of the great millennium, when the dead will come out of their graves. The first part of this prediction, referring to the 7th number, has led some to believe that this prophecy will come true in a year involving a 7. It tells us that following great games of slaughter and near the age of the great millennium, that the dead will come out of their graves. Now, Nostradamus never refers to zombies here, but in modern times, many may refer to the dead rising from their graves as the zombie apocalypse. But is Earth prepared for such a cataclysmic event? The US government is. Sort of. In 2011, Junior Department of Defense officers drafted a fictitious training plan entitled Con Plan 888811 Counter-Zombie Dominance. This was created, the document says, to avoid using classified information as well as the names of real-world nations and scenarios. As a result, the document says it better engaged students. From chicken zombies to zombie control technology to logistics, the plan is incredibly thorough. Perhaps we'll explore it in a later episode. However, it ends on a chilling note when discussing critical vulnerabilities. It goes, every human that becomes a zombie increases the enemy's numbers and decreases the chances that healthy humans will survive. Will the sun burn the earth? Nostradamus is also said to have foretold of a coming solar apocalypse in which the sky will open and the fields will be burned by heat. This, many worry, refers to the warming climate and the damage to that which shields us from the sun, the ozone layer. Should the atmosphere that protects us Earthlings from harmful ultraviolet solar radiation greatly weaken, or worse, tear apart, then the world as we know would be no more. The oceans will boil and we, spectators of myth, will be toast. The ozone was damaged in the past, but is now healing, and the use of chemicals that damage it has been banned. The Earth is, however, set to eventually be consumed by an expanding sun, but that's expected to occur billions of years from now. Will a third global conflict occur? Some reports have noted that the following quote by Nostradamus means war is coming. It goes, "Twice put up and twice cast down. The East will also weaken the West. Its adversary, after several battles chased by sea, will fail at time of need." Some corners of the internet reckon this may represent a conflict between a Western and Eastern power, or could escalate into a full-on global conflict that lasts 27 years. Indeed, right now there are rising tensions in various parts of the world. From the South China Sea to the streets of Europe, there are many flashpoints that could trigger global conflict. However, we should note that this same quote has been used at various points in previous years by other reports to predict similar outcomes. Humanity will live for centuries. One thing in this world is certain, spectators of myth. At one point or another, we will all die. Nostradamus lived well into his 60s, not a bad age for a 16th century European. However, he is said to have prophesied that humans will live well beyond 100 years in the future. Legend has it that Nostradamus foretold that 80-year-old humans will one day look like 50-year-olds. It is believed this would put the lifespan of humans to 200 years in the future. Clearly, this has not yet transpired, but what real-world evidence is there for it? Well, the Earth is definitely a healthier place than 16th century France. Sadly, however, the average lifespan of a human being is said to be around 71 years, and that figure varies greatly depending on where you live. That being said, scientists around the world are continuing to look for ways to slow and even halt the aging process. Will all this come to pass within our lifetimes? We don't know, but perhaps Nostradamus was onto something with this one. Will natural disasters run rampant? Another prediction, said to have been made by the ages-old astrologer, is that the Earth will be consumed by 80 years of natural disaster. This one says, "For 40 years the rainbow will not appear. For 40 years it will be seen every day. The arid earth will grow more dry, and great floods when it will be seen." Here, the lack of a rainbow appears to mean no rain. And no rain for an extensive period of time means drought. 40 years of drought would be cataclysmic. The subsequent part of this prediction is, for 40 years it will be seen every day. This refers to a rainbow being present every day for 4 decades. The meaning of that, in conjunction with the last part of this prophecy, and great floods when it will be seen, is quite simple. Nostradamus is telling us that Earth will be consumed by 40 years of flooding. Will that ever happen? Well, spectators of myth, you can't predict the weather, but with the climate the way it is, it wouldn't hurt if humanity took better care of the planet because, as we've seen many a time before, the weather can turn in a heartbeat. And there you have it, spectators of myth, prophecies and centuries-old predictions from the French astrologer known as Nostradamus. What we've described here are just a few of his works. There are many more that we may explore in the future. But whatever you're up to, have a happy new year and a wonderful 2019.